As you can see, the map on the datapad that was obtained by Mr. O'Donnell is out of date due to the passage of time.
Of course. Stars in space will naturally drift over the Earth.
Yes, we estimate that the ancient datapad was configured approximately 5,000 years ago.
They call them ancients for a reason.
Not as ancient to their predecessors. The ones that configured this datapad were the hindmost of the ancients on recorded timelines.
Indeed. The ancients disappeared around that time.
You may continue your line of thinking, Lieutenant.
After the computer updates the location of the stars, you can see the trajectory from Trident to the location of the second fragment of the map. Obviously, the third location is still anonymous to us. We don't know much about this planet, only that there is a desert that covers about 93% of the surface. The level of technology is equivalent to what humanity will be in the mid-21st century. The social climate, however, is unknown.
Astute observations, Lieutenant. Your labor will not go unnoticed.
Thank you, sire.
If this place will let me, I'd like to try out something that this girl in California did.
What would that consist of, Captain?
She had this great tan, and I thought that maybe I could take a crack at it.
I'm afraid that the mission must take precedence, O'Donnell.
It was worth a try.
But communication technology down on the surface is incompatible with ours. The best move would be to transport down to one of the major cities and introduce ourselves to the natives below.
Very well, Mr. Neeson. We shall transport down and inquire about the second fragment of the map. You will accompany us, O'Donnell.
No point in staying here anyways.
Interesting. This structure is new, built in the last 10 years according to this.
Doesn't look like it. A lot of wear and tear.
Is it possible the condition of the structure deteriorated due to the harsh weather?
That is a possible factor, but take note of the destruction around this area. Signs of life are certainly negligible.
War.
If that is what is transpiring upon this world, we must tread carefully.
Don't we always? Can we just once go into something guns blazing?
Human expressions are an enigma. I think they shall continue being one to the day I lie within the ground.
You'll come around.
Fascinating resemblance to humanity.
Who are you? What do you wish to seek?
Have no fear, Great One. My companions and I come in peace. We wish no hostility for you or your people.
Your intent sounds truthful, but you haven't answered my questions.
I am Cyrus the Ninth of Corlosis. This is Arthur Neeson and Kirk O'Donnell. Both were conceived on a planet named Earth.
I know your names now, but what about your purpose? We do not get visitors often.
We seek a map that was long forgotten upon this world, thousands of years ago. We wish to locate it to save the planet, in which I stated previously.
Noble cause indeed. Forgive my rude welcome, but my people are at war. I had to make sure of your intentions for the safety of my people.
I comprehend.
My name is Gib Koresh. I am the advisor of West Daresh. Please follow me, Cyrus of Corlosis. I will offer you hospitality.
I convey my thankfulness.
With your permission, Mr. Advisor, I'd like to do a few observations on your art and culture.
Certainly. I've always admired a thirst for knowledge. Remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, looks nice.
Well, my people weren't always this happy. O'Donnell, wasn't it?
You got it.
As I was saying, we've seen difficult times. The world used to be a paradise. Now it's a desert. Along with that, it took hundreds of years to claim our freedom.
On Earth, a similar thing happened to my country. We were under the control of the British before we took matters into our own hands and kicked them out for good.
That sounds to be a trying ordeal. How'd you manage?
I pinched myself to stay awake in class. Sometimes I put a tack on the teacher's chair. What I'm talking about happened hundreds of years before I came around. I learned about this stuff in school.
I see. I have just spoken with our chief historian, and he concludes what I have feared. What you are after, gentlemen, is a legend, one that has been around for many years.
Like the sword of King Arthur.
I assure you, this ancient chart exists as surely as this chalice in which I hold in my palm at this moment.
I don't understand, Cyrus the Ninth.
Don't worry, I'll translate it for you. You see, we already have the first part of the map. We still need to get the other two to find this gizmo which is at the end of the yellow brick road.
I think he's talking about the Wizard of Oz.
Hell yeah, great flick.
I believe we are diverting from the point of interest, gentlemen.
Yes, I believe we should definitely get back to the subject at hand. What would be of use to you?
Would it be possible for you to bring us anything that even mentions a map being left behind by the ancients? This could be a book, file, rendering, or writing of some sort.
This can be done. What will you do once you've found this map?
We shall return to our ship and depart this system to locate the final fragment of the ancient chart.
Of course, of course. And because of our assistance to your cause, I might ask for a favor in return.
Understood. We shall do our utmost to fulfill your request.
I know you will. My assistants will now escort you to the resting chambers. In the meantime, I will organize a search for those files.
Sounds good. I might have to hit the sack anyways.
I will bring those files to you shortly.
We've been buried in paper for a couple hours now. I think I need to stretch my legs before I turn into a fossil.
I agree. We need to rest for a bit.
I shall allow this.
Have you ever seen that guy sleep?
I don't believe so.
I swear, he could probably run a marathon and not even break a sweat.
Well, the Corlosians do have many advantages over our kind, but there are a couple of things that could be viewed as a disadvantage of sorts.
Like what?
I'd rather not say.
Oh, I see.
What's going on? Did you see that?
See what? What are you talking about? You on something?
Never mind. It's probably nothing. Have you found something?
I have indeed. Return to the chamber so I may explain my discovery.
On our way.
What's the cheese?
Would you care to examine these documents, gentlemen?
Foreign materials. Buried under miles of rock on the fourth moon of Dirish.
It appears that we have found the map.
How did you come across this?
I found a passage in one of the ancient tales told by a poet who lived on this world hundreds of years ago. This literary work claimed that visitors came and buried a treasure on that moon in the sky.
There always seems to be truth in myths.
This encouraged me to contact the Prometheus and have the crew commence a series of sensor sweeps on the fourth moon. The lieutenant just transmitted this readout on the moon's materials.
Now that we've found it, how do we get to it?
The materials were reported to be precisely 9.7 miles beneath the surface of the fourth moon. We cannot attempt to use the Prometheus's weaponry to extract what we desire.
Why not? Seems like a good idea.
It is too much of a risk. There's a strong possibility that the energy cannons would vaporize the materials in accordance with the ancient chart.
Well, how else are we supposed to get our hands on the map?
It is possible that the advisor might be able to lend us drilling equipment of some kind. We could modify its components for the vacuum of space.
Most wise, Mr. Neeson. I commend you for your line of thinking. We shall explain this to the advisor immediately.
And you need mining drills to get through the moon's crust and obtain your treasure?
That is correct. The term treasure is inaccurate, however. We have yet to obtain our main objective.
I'm afraid I cannot help you.
Why the hell not? We'll pay you back.
What you seek is beyond my reach.
What are you implying? You don't have access to those mining drills, do you?
No, I don't. I'm sorry, but you must understand. Those dogs in the east have their vile hands on what you want.
Your enemy in this war?
Yes. Those pigs have always made life difficult for us. I lost my son because of one of their attacks.
I convey my condolences, advisor of West Daresh.
Mr. Advisor, is your enemy in control of the mining, agriculture, and manufacturing on this planet?
Why do you say that?
It was obvious. Your people seem to be focused on art, literature, and science. It seems like your culture was incomplete.
It's true. Our people have always favored the arts over manual labor. It's beneath us, frankly. Those dogs in the east are better suited for that kind of work.
They might think the same about you.
You don't understand what my people have been through. You're new to our ways.
Explain your reasoning.
Since the dawn of our civilization, the West and the East have been separate but together in order to function as a society. You were correct in your assumptions, Mr. Neeson. The East focused on physical aspects and the West with mental aspects of the society. Inevitably, a conflict between us and those Eastern dogs happened. No one knows the cause, but there is no doubt that those Eastern pigs were responsible.
When did this conflict happen?
1,000 years ago. Ever since then, my people have been silenced and persecuted. We were considered inferior to those in the East. we were without a voice in our society.
I have observed that the climate on the eastern region of this planetoid is considerably harsher in comparison to the western region. This is a deciding factor in shaping the lifestyle of any race.
This was the way of things, until something extraordinary happened. 30 years ago, the Eastern dogs agreed that there should be equality in our world. We were allowed to do everything that the Eastern dogs could do. This was their mistake. We came out of the darkness and took control of our society. They were the ones restricted. We were finally free.
Looks like that lasted a good 2 minutes.
I warn you, O'Donnell. One more insult and you will be outlawed from this place.
Doesn't seem like you guys like freedom of speech.
My friend is unknowing of the finer qualities of diplomacy. Yield your outbursts until the advisor is finished.
Whatever. Have it your way, Your Majesty.
You were saying?
Yes. Simply put, the pigs in the East did not care for these changes and revolted against us. This led to a civil war that has lasted for the past 3 decades.
Most intriguing.
How can you find this intriguing? It's like you don't care about what's happening here.
I'm a scientist. I observe and study. I may find the situation to be an interesting one. However, I don't condone the actions being taken here.
What? You disagree? Haven't you heard of the evil that has taken place here?
It appears that you have been blinded by your hate. This society is fractured and is in disarray. The West and the East must form as one to function.
Never. Those pigs will never listen.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Advisor. Why do the people from the East and West hate each other?
The righteous have always been in the West. The same can't be said for those creatures.
Are you saying that the reason why you hate your enemy is because they come from point B rather than point A?
That's one of the most boneheaded reasons to fight a war which has lasted 30 damn years.
You impudent?
When you fight a war, you better have a pretty good reason for doing so. You're a kid playing with toy soldiers here. No wonder your planet is a wasteland that nobody cares about.
I'd hoped it wouldn't come to this. I'd hoped that you would listen, but it didn't work out. You will not leave until I take what I want from you.
What is it that you want?
Weapons. We need an advantage over those pigs. You will supply me an extensive supply of them.
And if we refuse?
You won't like the answer to that question, O'Donnell.
What is it, Lieutenant?
Sire, there was a large attack force heading towards your position. I wanted to warn you.
It appears that we are isolated until the attack is finished.
No! Not again! Take them to the holding cell.
It's her! She's the one I saw earlier today.
A hostage from the East. Daughter of the advisor of East Duresh.
Another brilliant decision, Mr. Advisor. No wonder your enemy is coming.
Shut up! You may not come from this world, O'Donnell, but you act like an Eastern pig.
Up yours, pal. move. Keep your hands where I can see them.
We can help you. Trust me. Can you contact the ship, Cyrus?
Negative. There must be some sort of interference. We must leave this structure.
Agreed. Show us the nearest way out.
And if I refuse,
You won't like my answer to that question.
there's a secret escape route near here. We should be able to leave unspotted.
That's more like it.
It appears that the interference is still in effect. What course of action shall we pursue?
We can't stay in place. I think the battle's over, so it's not going to be long before the advisor's people send search parties.
Indeed. We must evade the advisor's kind to avoid recapture.
Why don't we say hello to the guy who runs the other part of town?
You mean the advisor of Eastern Durish?
Yeah, why not? I'm sure we can break a deal with him. Hell, maybe we can stop this war too while we're at it.
O'Donnell, your line of thinking is comparable to a Corlosian. We will pursue that course of action.
For once, O'Donnell, you have a good idea.
Hey, I'm the one that saved your skin back on Krail Prime, remember?
Debatable. Anyways, how will we reach the Eastern City?
It appears that there are no transports available. We will have to journey to Eastern Duresh on foot. The advisor, Koresh, will lead the group.
I will do no such thing.
I have 6 votes in here that says you will. Get moving.